Hi everybody, my name is Sean Roy and this is my individual capstone project for the Strategic Knowledge Integration course. The company I've chosen to research for this project is Siemens. I have been employed by Siemens for the last year and a half in their mobility department or company. So learning about the other industries within Siemens was very exciting. So a little bit about Siemens. It's a technology company that was founded by Warner von Siemens in 1847. The first invention with Siemens was the pointer telegraph, which actually revolutionized the global communication at the time. Siemens is headquartered in Munich, Germany, and currently employs over 311,000 people and operates in over 200 different countries. They have a slogan that says, transforming the everyday to create a better tomorrow. This is what actually drew me to, or one of the reasons that kind of drew me to working for Siemens. They not only are focused on success for themselves, but they're also focused on creating a world that is better for not only people living now, but future generations to come. So a little bit about the missions and values that Siemens has. They're focused on being sustainable and operate under their degree framework. Degree is an acronym for decarbonization, ethics, governance, resource efficiency, equity, and employability. The decarbonization is the big focus now, not only for Siemens, but for a global standpoint, is to fight global warming and reduce the carbon emissions. And Siemens is trying to do their part. By 2030, their goal and their aim is to be net zero across all aspects of their business. For ethics, they want to foster a culture of trust, adhere to ethical standards, and handle data with care. And governance, they apply a state-of-the-art system for effective and responsible business conduct. This all came about from Siemens. Back in 2008, Siemens was involved in a bribery scandal that really forced them to they were forced to pay $1.6 billion in fines to settle the case and everything like that. So this Siemens since then has gotten rid of everybody that was involved in the scandal and the bribery, and right now and going forward, they have a zero tolerance policy for any type of business conduct that is deemed non-compliant with the Siemens practices and with global practices as well. And the resource efficiency, they want to achieve clarity and dematerialization. They want to automate. They're very big into automation, not only for themselves but for their customers. It cuts down on the red tape and kind of makes things flow and kind of a seamless transition from one place to another. With equity, they foster diversity, inclusion, and community development to create a sense of belonging. And the final E, employability. They enable their people to stay resilient, relevant, in a permanently changing environment. With technology and how constantly it changes, it's hard to keep up with it. And Siemens combats this by having employees do 25, I believe this year it's 25 learning hours, and with this, any employee can learn anything they want as far as technology goes, business side of things. If somebody wants to, learn Excel and say they have no idea how to learn Excel, how to work with Excel, they're able to learn with the learning program that Siemens has, and it is all free for Siemens employees, and that's part of how Siemens is able to try to combat and help the Siemens employees evolve and combat the changing environment, or keep up with the changing environment. All employees, suppliers, and customers are expected to comply to the degree framework. This especially applies to the ethics and the governance. Siemens does not want to go through the bribery scandal again, or a new one, or any type of non-ethical business practices. So they're very, like I said, they have no tolerance policy for any of their employees, suppliers, or customers. And if their suppliers or customers are deemed to be involved in any form of unethical business practices, Siemens will cut ties with them. So industries that Siemens operates in, they operate in drive technology, or another name for it is digital industries. This is motors, converters, inverters, and generators for automation systems. When companies are trying to automate, they often have to implement these very large motors and converters and stuff like that, so it can have this seamless integration with going from non-automated to automated and then staying automated. And it's kind of a product and a service side of the business. For building technology or smart infrastructure, this improves the efficiency for public and private infrastructures. It's so the big focus is for larger buildings like hospitals, schools, business buildings, be skyscrapers, anything like that. But what Siemens tries to do for their customers is they want to have technology communicate to one place. So whoever they will be whoever is working with the technology at that building, they will be able to see the potential, like, oh, there may be maintenance that may need done on one of the AC units in 15 months. And also be able to look at the data and see which ways they would be able to save money from a efficiency standpoint, whether it be lowering the cost of utilities, security, stuff like that. For mobility, which is the sector that I work in, it's focused on passenger and freight rail infrastructure. In Europe, in parts of Asia, train transportation is the main form of transportation, unlike the U.S., where it is personal vehicles like cars, trucks, SUVs. But there's a potential push for an outlook for the U.S. to start having high-speed trains kind of connect the U.S. Together. So what that means is usually, for example, to go from Pittsburgh to a city like Chicago, it would take 7 to 8 hours to drive, but with high-speed trains for public transportation, it would cut that down to 2 or 3 hours at a reasonable and affordable cost. And the U.S. freight rail and freight trains for freight is very big, and that's another thing that Siemens is working on, is creating having these freight rail trains be reduce the carbon emissions on those and become electric, so there be zero carbon emissions. Siemens Healthineers is a global provider of healthcare products, like machines for MRI, X-ray imaging, ultrasounds, and they also provide a service of IT where these images will go from the images that are captured will go from go directly to their directly to the doctor's computer or iPad or whatever they're looking at, and they'll be able to give the patient immediate care and be able to identify what the patient needs. For Siemens Energy, specifically the renewable energy, this is also a big global push to try to reduce the emissions, the carbon footprint. Siemens Energy has actually spun off of Siemens, or was spun off from the corporate Siemens and is now its own individual entity, but still works under Siemens, the corporate Siemens. They did this to try to allow Siemens Energy to focus on only themselves and kind of make updates and make changes and make business decisions for themselves without having to go through all the hoops to jump through. The competitors that Siemens has are General Electric, Schneider Electric, Hitachi, ABB, Alstom, and 3M. General Electric is their biggest competitor as far as the healthcare industry goes. General Electric also produces machines for imaging and healthcare. Alstom is is a big competitor for Siemens Mobility, as far as trains and making everything seamless, lower cost, energy efficient, and reducing carbon emissions. Core competency for Siemens is their ability to innovate, create new ideas, and produce high quality and lasting products. Siemens has been around for over 170 years. This doesn't, it doesn't happen without being able to innovate, especially for technology. Siemens wants to hire engineers and people who are able to innovate to continue the success that Siemens has had. They want to be able to create new ideas in the industries that they're currently working in, but also other industries that they may have the potential to get into. Producing high quality, lasting products is just to have have customers continue to want to work with Siemens. Looming threats that Siemens has to deal with from the pandemic is a lot of supply chain shortages. They're having to pay higher costs or higher prices to get the supplies that they need. And also competition within the industries. A lot of the industries that they're in are kind of niche industries. So there's a lot of price competition and bidding wars and stuff like that that Siemens has to combat with their competition. Thank you for watching, and happy holidays and happy New Year's, everybody.